right.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're going live. So I want to welcome everyone to our live broadcast here on Wall Street English. Today, we are going to talk about weather here in our Facebook Live. So the first thing I will do is welcome Shema to our
Hi.
Facebook Live. She's going to help me out today. So welcome, Shema. How's your day going? Is everything going all right?
It was good. It was quite a day to talk about weather, to be honest.
Definitely a good day to talk about weather. So
Yeah.
what have you been doing today? Did you work today?
I did. I did help out around in the office. So yeah.
Good. You feel like you're starting to get the hang of things now? I know you're one of our new employees.
Yeah, I'm the new coach in the leg center, and yes, I am starting to get the hang of things. I actually started like accepting students, if I may say.
Very good. Very good. Well, same for me. I'm working today. I'm back from a week vacation. So this is my first day back. I have encounters and complimentary classes today, as always. All right, so I want to welcome our viewers today on our live. Please feel free to jump into the comments to say hello or to say anything that you want to say in the comments and to answer questions in there. So if you guys paid attention to our topic today, our topic today is seasons and weather. And the reason that I chose that is because we're kind of in between two seasons right now. Do you know what those seasons are, Shema? What seasons are we moving in between?
We're shifting from the winter into spring.
We are shifting from winter into spring, exactly right. And so you made a good point. What did you say about the weather that we have right now?
It's confusing. It's, if I may say, bipolar in a way.
Yeah.
If
so we sometimes will call this weather, we will say things about this weather that have to do with mental health. We will say the weather is bipolar or the weather is schizophrenic. This means the weather doesn't know what it's doing right now. So this is common in between two seasons for the weather to be unpredictable. That means we can't tell what the weather will be one day or the next day. It will be different in between the 2 days. It looks like we have Fatmi here with us in our comments. Hello, Fatmi says hello, and I say hello back and welcome. So we just mentioned two of the seasons that we're in between right now. So that is winter and spring. What are the other two seasons?
Okay, so am I going to answer the question or waiting for the comments?
You can answer, Shema.
Okay, so there's, I'm going to name the 4 seasons. They are So winter, spring, autumn, and summer.
Exactly. So we have winter, spring, autumn, and summer. And we use a different word in the US for autumn. Does anyone know what that word is that we say for autumn in the US? So I want you guys to remember our 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. If you know the word we use for autumn in the US, I want you to write it in the comments. So I want you to think now about what is the common weather in each season. So what kind of weather do we usually see in winter, Shema? What kind of weather do we usually see in winter?
It's usually stormy and like there's rain and wind everywhere, and stormy is the best description for it.
We can say stormy. That's a great description of winter weather. And if you're somewhere that's very cold, it's also going to snow. So it might be snowy in the winter if you're somewhere very cold. I got a couple of great answers from Mariam and Fahmi about what we call autumn in the US. We call it fall. So in the US, we would say winter, spring, summer, and fall are the 4 seasons. And the common weather for winter is cold weather, rainy, windy, stormy, snowy. This is all very common weather for the winter. I want to know, have you ever seen the snow? Have you ever been in the snow? Shema, have you been to somewhere where it's snowing before?
I have studied 3 years in Zahwen, and snow, it doesn't usually snow in there, but I was lucky enough to witness snow in Zahwen. But also we visited like a couple of places like Ain Draham, where it usually like snows in there, and it's extra beautiful. Yeah, snow is awesome.
Yeah, snow is very beautiful. I think if you don't have to do too much and don't have to navigate too much in it, it's okay. Yes. We have Manel with us. She says, good afternoon. I'd say good afternoon or good evening to you, Manel. Welcome.
Hi.
I think that we can think about snow in Tunisia comparatively to other places as being pretty
rare.
Slight. It's rare and it's slight. And if you go somewhere, for example, where I lived in the US, it's a state called Colorado. It's right in the middle of the country. We have big mountains there. So we have the Rocky Mountains. And sometimes it snows a lot there. We can get what we would say is feet of snow or meters of snow.
Yes.
Can get very, very deep. And where I lived as a child was very near to Niagara Falls in New York State, near to Canada. And we had the blizzard of 1976. And a blizzard is when there's so much snow, it stops everything. And I remember being a child and we opened the front door and there was snow.
A block of snow.
To the top of the door. You couldn't get out of the house through the door. There was too much snow. Oh. So this is common weather when it's very cold and snowy.
Yes.
What about in spring? What is common weather for spring? What do you think, Shema?
Spring is actually the middle. I'd like to call it the middle weather, where it's neither too hot, neither too cold. It's actually a good weather to be in, I believe.
It is. We can call it temperate weather.
Yes.
Where it's not too hot, not too cold. Spring is when the temperature is steadily increasing every day and the length of the day is increasing every day.
Yep.
We have a little rhyme that we say in English about the spring because it tends to be very rainy in some places in the US in the spring. So we say, April showers bring May flowers. So that means that the rain in April makes things grow in May. And I've also heard here that people say in the spring that the rain is as precious as gold.
Yes.
Because it's what makes the crops grow, which we need right now very, very badly.
Very, yes.
Right. And Fahmi says, no, he's not been in the snow. And Monia says, sunny in the spring. It's often very sunny in the spring. It might be cool and sunny or warm and sunny. Yes. And then we get into the summer. So what's the weather like in the summer? What is common summer weather like?
It is in Tunisia, the weather recently have, like in summer, it's extremely hot. Like
very hot.
Yes, there were days where like, I think the temperature exceeded 50 degrees, right? And it was, we suffered a lot in summer.
We did suffer a lot in summer. And Monia says, we feel good in the spring. We definitely feel good in the spring. It's very comfortable. It's neither too hot nor too cold. Then we get into the summer. Sometimes it can be we say, very,
sweaty.
very hot, or too hot and too sweaty. I definitely spend a lot of time sweating in the summer. And we can also think about good places to visit in the summer. So I want you to write in the chat, if you're in my chat and if you're watching, write places that you like to visit in the summer, where you like to go in the summer. Where do you like to go in the summer, Shema?
Definitely the beach. It's the best place to cool down.
I love going to the beach.
Enjoy the summer, yes.
And in Colorado, where I come from, when it gets very hot in the summer, we go up in the mountains because it's cooler up there. Yes. So we will go hike up into the mountains and we will find somewhere cool, set up our hammock or be by a stream, put our feet in the cool mountain stream. That's a nice thing to do in the summer. Monia says we can swim in the summer. Absolutely. One of my favorite things to do in the summer. All right. So now we've gotten through summer. Now we're going to go to our final season, which is autumn or fall, as we say in the US, autumn or fall. So what's the weather like in autumn? Shema, what's the weather like in autumn?
It is shifting from the hotness of the summer into the coldness of winter. So it definitely starts to get windy. And there is a bit of showers like here and now and then, and also in fall. So yeah,
we might start seeing some rain. We might start seeing some wind, and we might start having some cooler temperatures, especially at night. And so this is a nice time to get in the last of our beach days and maybe start getting into some hiking or some walking in nature. This is a nice time to be outside. It's again, just like spring, not too hot, not too cold, somewhere in the middle. Yeah, different kinds of weather. So how can weather be different? For example, depending on what kind of geography that we're near. How does the sea affect the weather? How does the sea affect the weather? What do you think, Shema?
Okay, so like the sea does affect the weather I believe that it's in a good way in summers, like because in summer, like whenever we're near the sea, it's a bit cooler than inside the cities and everything, and definitely cooler from being in the south, which tend to be extremely hot in summer. But it goes other way around, like in winter, because like near the sea it gets extremely cold because of all the humidity and everything. And like in the south would be in a way not warmer, but in a way warmer than being near the sea.
I think it's the difference of the humidity, like you said. Yes. So the humidity is what kind of gets into your bones and makes you really cold. And we have the wind that comes from the sea and brings kind of a cool air and a humidity in. And when we go down to the south in the desert, we don't have that sort of humidity. Then what we have what we say in the summer is a dry heat. Yes. And in the winter, then we can fight the cold with some layers. How can the mountains change the weather? For example, if we go to Ein Draham, how is the weather different there than it is here in Sousse?
So it is a higher level from the ground in the mountains. So again, in summers, and as you said, like in Colorado, you go in summer hiking to cool down. So it is cooler up there on top of the mountains or like midway through. But also in winter days, it is cooler than like being on ground level, let's say.
Yeah, so it's definitely colder in the winter. That's where you're going to find the snow here in Tunisia. You're going to find that in the mountains.
Yes.
And you're going to find colder weather and more extreme weather as we go up into the mountains, certainly.
Yeah.
So we can think about how these different climates can affect weather. All right, so if you're watching our live again, please feel free to drop in and say hi. We talked today about seasons and about weather and about some of the different things we like to do in different seasons and about how the weather is different in different places. So let's talk about one more quick thing. Let's talk about how the weather can change our clothing. So how does the weather change what we wear? How does the weather change how you dress, Shema?
Okay, so we tend to need warmth in colder days, so we tend to layer up and wear like thicker clothes. And we need like to breathe more in hotter days, so we tend to layer less. So it's like the less you wear, the better it is.
Yeah, you're a little cooler if we wear less or lighter clothes.
Yeah.
And for me, my feet are one of the #1 factors for warm or cold. I tend to wear open-toed shoes here in Tunisia for the majority of the year, about 10 months or 9 months out of the year. And only about 2 or 3 months do I wear socks and shoes. And the rest of the time, I'm keeping myself regulated by keeping my feet uncovered. So I must always have my toenails painted just in case I have my toes out. So we can think about these different kinds of clothing that we're going to wear in different seasons. And if we go to somewhere, for example, where it's very cold, we're going to have some specialized clothing that we might wear. Like if we are somewhere where there's a lot of ice and snow, we might have gloves on our hands. We might need to have a snow hat. We might need to have a heavy scarf. We might need to have a long coat that goes all the way down to our knees and is very thick to keep us warm. And so we can think about that as some specialty clothing. If we go to the beach, what's our specialty clothing at the beach that we need, Shema?
Swimwear.
We need swimwear at the beach. So we have to have specialty clothing for specialty weather. All right, so everyone, for the end of our live today, as we do in every live, we are going to offer a free 2 weeks with Wall Street English for the first person to answer our question in the chat. So our question is, what are the 4 seasons? The first person to name the 4 seasons in our chat will win 2 weeks free with Wall Street English. So the question for our 2 weeks free in the live this week is, what are the 4 seasons? So name the 4 seasons in the chat, someone, and you can win 2 weeks free with Wall Street English. So we want to, of course, thank everyone for watching along today, for commenting along today. We had a few very nice commenters, Fahmi and Mariam and Monia had you all commenting with us today. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate all you viewers as well watching us today. We talk about different things. Sometimes we talk about grammar, sometimes we talk about business. And we have our winner today, Fahmi, of 2 free weeks, has commented winter, spring, autumn, and summer. These are our 4 seasons. So very, very nice, Fahmi. Well done. You have
Congratulations.
won 2 weeks for free. Congratulations. Very nicely done. So I'd like to thank everyone here for your participation today, for watching us today here in our live. Come back every week for our live on Tuesdays, and come for our conversation hour to our Zoom on Thursdays if you're one of our students and you can practice speaking. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you all very soon. Thanks for helping me out, Shema.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.